Hey guys, Brian here with Team Mana Beast with a profile on my, as I so far have called it, Coco's Be Good to Your Daughters. You know, kind of like that, the John Mayer, the fathers be good to your daughters. It was Coco's Be Good to Your Daughters because, well, I'll explain it, but it's going to take a second here. So, let's start off here with a grade 0. Nothing surprising here. Little Witch LuLu. This is the starter of this deck. And she's got a couple effects here. Whenever a grade 3 or greater Oracle Think Tank rides this unit, if this unit is in the soul, I can call this to the rear guard when a grade 3 is rode on the Vanguard. And then, of course, this is choose Oracle Think Tanks, choose 2 Oracle Think Tanks from your soul, put them in the drop zone, and then when this unit is placed on the rear guard from this first effect, I can draw a card. So she's essentially poop her out and draw 2 cards, which is nice, and we'll show you how it goes along here with these strategies. Now let's look at triggers here, because this is going to be your kind of classic, really strong, really fast OTT deck. We're going to run 16 crits all together. We got 4 of the Battle Sister Ginger. We have got 4 of the Oracle Guardian Nike here, and then we've got 4 of the Psychic Bird, which is a really nice deck, really nice card to go into the deck here, because we can fix your soul as we go through here and talk about it. When you start doing other things later in the game, when you're predicting the cards you're going to get, you can draw that card if you want. Really nice card to have there, and then of course adds the 12 crits. And then of course 4 heals for Lozenge Magus, Lozenge Magus, I don't care. This is the recyclable heal. When it boosts, becomes 6k and goes back in your deck, which is OP. So there's that, and then we're going to go on to grade 1s. And hey, what do you know? It's 4 perfect guards, because if you're not running 4 perfect guards, you're an idiot. Moving on from that, we have got 4, and I mean 4, Oracle Guardian Gemini, our 8k booster, who is extremely important in this deck, which I'll talk to you a little bit about how that works when we talk about field setup here after we do the deck profile. And then we have 3, count them 3, Circle Magus. Her ability is, we can call this to the field, look at the top card of our deck, and then put it back down. Can't put it to the bottom or the top, but you do put it back down. And this card is just really cool. It's a good little booster. The other thing it does, it just puts pressure on people. Because you can see the top card, even though you can't put it on the bottom, people still get freaked out by that. Like, I don't know how many times I've looked at the top card, I'll just look at it for like 2 seconds and put it down at the bottom, even if it's not a crit. And people are scared and will overguard. It's a funny tech, and it surprisingly works a lot of the time. And then the other grade 1 we run is this grade 1, Battle Sister Coco. She is like Magus, except she's a 6k. But she has the added benefit of being able to not only look at the top card, but then be able to put that card on top or on the bottom. So if you're really trying to cycle towards those 12 crits, she's really nice for that. Moving on to the grade 2s, we have 2 Battle Sister Tarte. She is our 10k vanilla, which again, good body, great to ride, and if you have her on rear guard, she's at optimum as well. Then for the other grade 2s, we have 4, yes, count them, 4 Battle Sister Mochas. She's a very interesting card. I like her a lot because this deck is a very hand advantage deck, as most OTTs are. I'm going to have 4 more cards most of the time, and her effect activates on Vanguard as well. So you can have an 11k Vanguard at your second turn right off the bat, which is really nice, and can hit pretty much anything on the other side, including grade 3. So if you're grade locked and you ride this, cool, I can still hit 11k numbers and still hit you, which is really nice. And then I'm going to run 3 and only 3 Silent Tom. Why 3 Silent Tom? I don't know. Silent Tom is so OP, I feel bad running a 4th. No, actually I'm going to run 3 Silent Tom because 4 just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of craps my hand up. Like, it's good, but I don't want too many of them. I want just enough to run it, not too many. So 3 is the magic number. And then 2, Promise Daughter. Hey, that's where this whole daughter deck comes into play, what you're talking about. Promise Daughter is 9k. If I throw away another Oracle Guardian, sorry, what am I saying? Oracle Think Tank. If I throw another Aura Think Tank, this gets plus 5k, so it's a 14k. So boosted by the 7 or the 8k, it hits over 21k Vanguards. And again, this activates on Vanguard or in Rearguard, which is a very, very nice effect. Alright, so then we're going to run, because we're running LuLu, we're going to run 4, and count them 4 Cocos, because, well, Coco OP. 4 Cocos, she's got 2 abilities. If there is no cards in my soul during my turn, this gets plus 3k, so it's a 13k Vanguard as far as its attack power. And then if I place this on Vanguard and there are 1 or less cards in soul, I can counterblast 2 and draw a card. So again, that bounces in well with LuLu, which we'll kind of talk about later. And then we'll run 2 Goddess of the Flower, Divination, Sakuya. She's great too. If I got 4 or more in my hand, she's a 14k on my turn. And then the other awesome thing about her is when she's called to the Vanguard, I can bounce everything back. So the really cool thing about that is, say I've got one of these bad boys on the field, and I put her on the Vanguard, boom, bounce her back, and then I can use her effect again to either check the top card, put it on top, put it on bottom. So that's why she's pretty good. And now for the part of the deck that I love the most, Imperial Daughter. One of the coolest cards. I just absolutely love this card. I mean, I know there's people who don't like this card. I absolutely love this card. She has Restraint, so she can't attack. That's her first ability. Her other one is during the act is I can choose another one of my Oracle Think Tank rearguards and put it into the soul, and then this loses Restraint. Okay, so that's kind of cool. The other cool thing about her is if I don't have any other rearguards during my turn, this gets plus 10k and a crit and loses Restraint. So if it's just there by its lonesome, boom, attack, 21k and 2 crit. Yeah, it's really, really, really good. And we'll kind of talk about that in the strategy portion, how that works after that. So that's pretty much the deck profile so far. Next, we're going to go into the deck strategy. Okay, so now we're going to kind of get into how the deck works and how you can utilize it to your advantage. So we're just going to start things off and kind of go through a little bit of a demo play. So we're going to start off with Little Witch LuLu, and let's just go ahead and say we ride Battle Sister Cocoa. Now what's really neat about riding her, or either our Circle Magus, is that we can check the top card of our deck, which let's just say we're grade locked, either at 2 or 3. We can always check the top card, and if we don't want to take damage that turn, we can always guard for it, pull the card we need, and then we have an advantage that way. So then after we ride that card, we go ahead and ride, boom, our grade 2 here, our Promised Daughter. And then after that turn, boom, run Coco. So then of course, we're going to take 2 cards, Soul Blast them away, and then most of the time, 99% of the time, depending on what I have in my hand, but I'm going to call LuLu here, and I'm going to call Coco here. Because mind you, we're not at in-game here, we're just at the first few rounds of the game. That allows me to use her effect, draw 1, and then counterblast 2 from her effect, draw 2 more. So now we're about 3rd turn, and I've already 3 cards up. That's why this deck doesn't have any draws in it, because I know OTTs are known for hand strength, but this generates its own hand strength without any kind of draws in the deck at all. So then on that turn, most of the time what I will do is, I will usually put, let's just say like an 11k attacker here, and after kicks and giggles, a 10k here. What this does is this sets up my field to have some really nice attacks. This is 13, this is 16, and this is 10k. So we're definitely hitting Vanguard with this, no problem. We're hitting 11k Vanguards with this, no problem. And then we're hitting 10k so for rear. So when I attack with this turn, what I'm hoping for is to get, a crit off of this. So boom, I do my crit thing, hey, I'm awesome. So then the next turn, depending on what I have in my hand, is really going to make a change in my judgment. If my next grade 3s I have in my hand, which is the optimal one, would be Imperial Daughter. And let me show you how that would go. Because let's just say now, enemies attacking. They're probably going to use these. And these, in all honesty, are for attack power, but also as bait. And most of the time, I'll either guard with them, or I'll be like, let him die. And then this one dies, don't care either. And then I'll take a damage on my Vanguard, or at least 1 more damage. So then, next turn, boom, ride Imperial Daughter. I will counterblast 1 to suck this up my butt. And then I'll just go, 21k2 crit. So at that turn, most of the time I have my enemies at 3 damage. So then I'm already hitting them for 5 if they don't guard. And since I'm running 12 crits, well, yeah, I'm probably going to hit a crit, more than likely. And I can't tell you the number of games I've ended at this turn. It's just like 21k 2 crits, and they're like, either guard a whole lot, or, oh, no guard, and then I hit them with crit. So what's great is, at this point, they are just losing so much hand, because I'm just hitting them and hitting them. So then they're going to attack me, I'm going to stand back up, and then what's really nice, which is, this is just like the optimal bomb diggity, oh my goodness, you are just a boss, is after I went ahead and rode Imperial Daughter, I will ride Coco back over her again, and then, hey, guess what do you know, I got 2 in my soul, so I'll blast those 2 away, call her to rear guard again, call her here, and then draw 1 off her, and then 2 more here. So right there in a very quick succession, I've drawn 6 cards in a deck that has no draws. So it's like I have 6 draws very, very easily. And then when you start getting in the late game, what's really nice is, that's why I have for the 8k attackers, because then behind her it's a 21k row, and then when I get my nice and beautiful Tom here, and another 8k here, it's beautiful, and then let's just say I have, I don't know, this here. So this here is like your end game. This is like your last few turns setup. If you have this setup, 99% of the time you're winning, because this is a 21k row. Again, we're running 12 crits, 16k row, and this is a 16k row Tom, which I am still amazed how much work Tom puts in. Like, he literally puts in a ton of work, because 1 trigger and a crit, 21k, and 2 crit, you have to guard with 3 5ks, and you can't guard with 0s. And let me tell you, in this meta, with all the units and all the damage they do, when you're getting your opponent to get rid of those kind of cards, that is just devastating, because not only are you just attacking their Vanguard, because usually I'll attack Vanguard here, and then I'll attack one of their rear guards, because they've already at this point discarded 3 cards or a perfect guard. So this baits out perfect guards and cards they need, which I absolutely love, because then I can just next turn, cool, 21, alright, cool. And then this is a nice 16k row, which can attack rear guards and stuff. So at this point, your deck is just stupid devastating. You have a ton of hand advantage, and you're hitting with crits, no problem. So that's why this is one of my favorite decks, that it doesn't rely on limit break. It doesn't rely on any kind of fancy tricks other than just really coming at your opponent. And the other thing too is, late game as you're going through, if you're noticing you need to rearrange your rows, or if you're about to ride into Imperial Daughter, say late game you get another Imperial Daughter and you're like, crap, I don't want to get rid of all this field by doing the counterblast. Boom, ride her, get rid of all this stuff, so that in the next turn, if your opponent's really low and you want to hit him 21k and 2 crit, you can do that real easy. So there you go.